All right, beautiful people. Woo! I am officially recording. Hopefully my Wi-Fi holds up because I just got kicked out of my own meeting here. I gotta love that one, right? I was like, what on earth? It happened yesterday too with Sarah. I was like on and then gone, and anyway, so hopefully the Wi-Fi holds up. Welcome to our team call. It is Groundhog Day. It has felt like Groundhog Day since March 13th though. So I just feel like it's the same day over and over again, right? Just the weather changes as we go through the seasons of Groundhog Day. I am Tamara. For those of you who don't know who I am, I've been coaching now, I can't believe it's been 6 years. It's been 6 years. It's been crazy. 6 years ago, we started, Christina was a brand new baby coach. We met her at a Tim Hortons. We had a coffee. Kennedy was in a high chair eating snacks, kind of like NJ is right now. And we just fell in love with the idea of what coaching could bring to our lives. Fast forward to today. Still absolutely love it. So thankful for all of you. And I'm not actually, I know it says I'm talking about time management. I'm not going to go into like the hustle hacks. Like Floss gave some really great ones last week. Estelle has shared some. Sarah has some amazing trainings if you go through the Empower Squad Hub on like when to fit the stuff in, like how to do that. What I want to talk to you guys about today is actually like managing your time and pre-planning it out so that it doesn't become one of those things that is like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, right? Because that's what often happens is, oh, I'll send my invites tomorrow. And then you get to Friday and you haven't sent any invites. So I am going to share my screen because it will keep me on track. And I'm not going to take a ton of your time because I actually have homework for you. All right. So I want you to actually do the homework, and I will put the file into the chat, and I'll also send it to the other leaders on the team so they can send it out as well. Not this file, a different one. So this is for me so that I don't turn into squirrel brain. So time management. And this is where I'm going to give like everyone a little bit of tough love, including myself. And the reason that I say tough love is because I know I'm guilty of it too, right? So the number one thing coaching will test is your discipline. It's not motivation. Motivation is not even part of this business. Like if you're relying on motivation, sorry, it's not going to happen for you. I'm just going to break the news to you right now. You need to become disciplined. All right. Discipline is a muscle. It will have to become a muscle you exercise every single day. And in order to become disciplined, there are a few factors that we need to determine first. So we often hear about how, some people are hobby coaches or discount coaches or what have you. I kind of put them into two categories. So one is, I'm jumping ahead. So why are you here? What is your why? It might sound like a harsh statement for me to say, like, why are you here? But something drew you into this business, something drew you into this team. And in order for you to become incredibly disciplined, that why has to be massive. That why is not just like, oh, I want to make $20 to pay my gas tank. Like that's temporary, that's great, but it has to be bigger than that. So what the reason is simple. You want your, because with discipline, what you want most has to outweigh what you want more, right? And that's often what happens. So when my alarm goes off at 4:40 in the morning, what I want more is to sleep. I want to sleep. I don't want to get up that early. I really don't. But what I want most is to feel good, to be strong, to feel proud, to run a successful business, to be incredibly fit, to be a good role model for my kids. All of those things far outweigh the 4:40 alarm clock, right? So when you look at it that way, that's why you have to know what your why is. So what do you want 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 5 years down the road? What are your reasons for coaching? Is it income, fulfillment, sense of purpose? And this is where you're going to have to spend the time and dig deep. I'm not going into like finding your why. You can listen to Simon Sinek talk about find your why or start with why. And in order to get to that really deep level, that's not what we're going to be talking about. And I mentioned here that I was going to say there are two kind of two types of coaches. So you've got your coaches that are your all-in coaches, and you've got your coaches that are your kind of do your own thing coaches. And if they are a do your own thing coach, that's perfectly okay, right? Like we want the do your own thing coaches on our teams because there are discount coaches, there are hobby coaches that might bring in a friend here and there. And what we're going to do with those coaches, I always put them in kind of a client bucket. I email them like I would my client, instead of emailing them like or following up with them like I would my coach, because they don't need to be in the coach hubs. They don't need those sorts of things. So check in on them, plug them into the programs, nutrition guides, ask questions, guide them. What we're talking about today is our all-in coaches. So if you are an all-in coach, then your kind of goals should be Success Club 10 every month, Emerald 30 days, Diamond in 90 days. And those are the activities of a business builder. And we should really know no different than those if we truly are. So how do we get there? We get there with time management and incredible discipline. And if we aren't seeing, and this is where like I reflect on myself, if I'm not seeing results in my business, there's a couple of things that aren't happening. Number one, I definitely am not doing personal development because I'm on some in my head downward spiral. But number two, I'm not doing the income producing activities. And you guys, I am so guilty of, oh, but I should make a website. I've done that. Nobody should be making a website. Website is fluff, and fluff is not going to pay your bills. It's not, right? It's fun to do, sure. But if you're going to say, oh, I spent 3 hours on my business and what you did was you built a website, that's not an income producing activity. So you've got to focus on those. If those are the only things that you're doing every day, then you are going to move forward. Don't worry about, like, I know Sarah shared last week on, actually I had a couple coaches message me after about that Jamelius, and it's a Gmail extension that you can add onto your Gmail. But if you are not emailing hundreds of people, you do not need Jamelius. Like, don't spend your time building that until you need it, right? If you are at Success Club 10, then you can work on your Jamelius or your Gmail or your Streak or whatever it is. But you cannot work on the fluff because it's not going to pay your bills. And I guarantee you, if you are a coach that is in the all-in category, you want it to pay some bills, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. What are IPAs? So those are your income producing activities. They need to be scheduled into your day every single day. And this is one thing that I have become really, really good at. I'm actually trying out a new planner this year, which I love it. But it's not necessarily a business planner. I definitely wouldn't get it again for next year. But what I did do is I created something for all of you that you can use in case you don't have a system in place already. So these need to be scheduled into our days, and this is where time management and discipline come in. For newer coaches, we need to ensure that they are following the vitals so they can see for themselves that the programs in combination with the nutrition and Shakeology really work. Once they experience it for themselves, belief is born. The reason I say that is because I know for many of some of my coaches that come in, even just starting on their own personal journey is overwhelming for them, right? So I want to make sure that they have that foundation before they're building onto it. After that routine, it's time to start scheduling and prioritizing our time. So what do we do? On a Sunday, or Saturday, doesn't matter what it is, spend 20 to 30 minutes planning out your week. Ensure your workouts are scheduled, you've planned your meals, get in your grocery shopping, trainings, all that, and then build your week in chunks like that. And then show up for the things that you schedule, all right? So this is what I did here, is I have created called an Empower My Day. And I created a PDF document that I'm gonna provide to everyone. And I really want you to break it down by the hour or the half hour. When are you going to do the things, right? And you can use this file for whoever. Don't use this one. I'm going to show you the other one. And it really doesn't matter what kind of system you use. What I wanted to do was actually like take you through like how I do mine, but I didn't know how to do that while sharing at the same time. So I'm just going to give it to you for homework. So you're going to have some sort of planning system where you schedule in your IPAs. So at the bottom, you've got your connecting, you're inviting, you're following up, and then you've got other activities: respond, recognize, contribute to challenge group. You can use the BAT as a guideline. I don't know if any of you have logged on and tried the new online version. I absolutely love it. I love that it marks me and gives me a score out of 100%. I think it's brilliant that I can look at each day and see that right there. All right, so and then tracking. So you've got to track your systems, and from there, aim for 85%. So I have had coaches in the past tell me that the Success Club tracker has given them anxiety because there's empty boxes. I really think that we need to push past that. And one of the reasons that I'm such a huge advocate for time management and planning my time is I did struggle with anxiety, like massively. I was medicated on medication for years for anxiety and depression. And the more I schedule my time and the more intentional I am with planning my time, the less anxious I am, right? Because I know what's coming, and it actually creates bigger pockets of time for me to enjoy life, for me to not be thinking about, oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do, oh my gosh, I need to do that. I'm not in that squirrel mindset and the chasing time mindset because I am so intentional with planning out my time. And it has helped so much with that. And I have a lot of people that kind of push back on the concept, thinking, well, if I schedule my time, then I don't have that freedom. But you actually are creating more in your day. So these are just some of the files that I use. Like I've got a list of rock stars, I've got the win the week, power of the day, and then you've got your bat. So now it's your turn. So you're gonna go take some action and plan your day. So I'm gonna open the other, I'm gonna stop sharing for 1 second and just open the other document. Hold on 2 seconds here. I will not move. I can't get there we go, the bottom bar to move. All right. And I want to open the other one so that you can see what I did. And then I want you to actually go and do the stuff, or to teach your team how to go and do the stuff. So on here, so what I did was I created a place, and you can put your quote for the week. I made it in 2 weeks because the first one I put the National Wake Up Call, the Level Up Call, the Slay Squad Call, and Power Squad Call. But I would use it more in the sense that I would take a blank one and just start from there. And it is a Canva doc, so if anybody wants it, I can just give you the link to Canva, make a copy, and then you can actually make your own and tweak it and adjust it how you want to. But I love the concept of like, okay, so if I'm sitting down on a Sunday, I'm gonna write down what are all of my commitments for that week that I have to schedule in. So for me, I wrote down National Wake Up Call for Monday. I wrote down the Slay Squad call. I wrote down the Level Up call. Then on Tuesdays, we've got this call. Then on Wednesdays, I've got the open mic call. For me, on Thursdays, I have Zumba. Wednesdays, I have soccer for my daughter. Fridays, I have soccer for my daughter. Thursdays, I have soccer for my son, right? So I'm gonna be putting in all of these things that I have to do every week. Write down maybe it's go get groceries, maybe it's meal planning, whatever it is in there, and just a place for you to me to dump some names and a quote for the week. All right, so there's my overview for the week. From that, I'm then going to take it and put it into my day timer. And I do mine usually by the hour, where I will have okay, so I'm getting up in the 4s. So I put mine at 4, and I put, wake up. I put journal. I put, what are my other ones? Visualization. I put personal development, because I always do some personal development in the morning. And then I put my workout for 5:30. And then I actually will block off the time that I don't have access to my life because I'm at work, my outside life, right? So anywhere between 8 and 3, I am pretty much MIA because I don't have time. At lunchtime I'm peeing and photocopying and then marking and going back to my classroom. So I don't have time between 8 and 3 to really get much done. So then it would be calls. And I'm actually going to schedule in from the bottom. I'm going to write down connecting, inviting. I'm going to write down following up. I actually have a system where I follow up twice a week. I do big follow-ups instead of doing follow-ups every single day, unless it's someone I know that is actually going to be signing up shortly, so that I know oh, I got to check with them tomorrow, right? So I love the checking off the boxes here. You've got your water, and then just some places to take notes that you can transfer. So I have the whole week for you planned here, and this is what I would like you all to do if you struggle with this, with time management, is not scheduling in, or like, oh, I can do that when I'm in the, if you know that you, like, for example, on a Wednesday night when I go to my daughter's soccer, it's a soccer practice. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to sit in the car. And what am I going to do when I sit in the car? Well, I'm going to do my connecting and my inviting as I'm sitting in the car. So on a Wednesday night, I'm going to go to Wednesday, and I'm actually going to schedule in at 6 o'clock. I'm going to, or 7 o'clock, I'm going to type in Jamie soccer inviting connecting, so that I know, and then I'll check those off. And then I try and score myself based on my week, but just know that you have to, absolutely have to be intentional with your time. Otherwise, you're constantly going to feel like you're chasing it. I schedule in my workouts. I don't schedule in Shakeology, even though it happens every day. So it's just not something I do. So that's what I have for you guys today. I'm not going to keep you for very long because I would like you to actually go and do the scheduling of your week and managing your time to get that stuff, to get the income producing activities done, right? Does anyone have any questions or things they want to go over? Things they want to add?
I love it. So organized and simple, and it's so true.
Will you be posting a copy of that document you have so we can borrow it?
I don't know if anyone hopped off. We're good.
Yeah, I think she's going to.
I'm going to what?
I'm sorry. I was asking. Sorry, yeah. I was asking if you're going to be posting the copy of that document you have so we can copy it.
Yes, I'm gonna post. I'll actually post the PDF, but I'll also post the Canva link so you guys can all make a copy and tweak it and adjust it to what you want, right? Because awesome. You have to make it work for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know why I couldn't hear anything. That was weird. Anyone else? No, everyone's good. Time management, right? Now we can go manage and plan our time. I didn't take too much of yours, so it's all good.
Can I actually just add one little thing? Because I started something and it's been working so well for me, and it's just on this topic, so I might as well just share. Girls, shh. Sorry, I have a play date here. I've been using Google Calendars to organize just like my personal calendar. And I don't know why it took me this long to do it, but it changed my world. So all my like doctor's appointments, I usually have like 2 to 3 doctor's appointments a week, like just crazy things that like I'm just always keeping up with my kid and her dance and her jiu-jitsu. And it's like, it was just so much. And then our meetings. So I started just putting it on my phone or on the Google Calendar. And with a lot of appointments now, like it just links to your Google. So if you're not doing the Google Calendar yet, like I'm just going to add that. It's for the last couple of months, it just like changed my organization again.
Is there a difference between Google Calendar and using your iCal?
I haven't heard the iCloud thing. I just
know just the iCalendar, like the one that comes with your phone if you have an Apple phone.
No, that was just the one I used.
Oh, so it's not Google. It's just like the calendar on your phone, or you downloaded a special app.
You know what? I think it is Google Calendar.
The Google Calendar.
Yeah.
If you download the Google Calendar, but you log into your email, like it links to your Google. So if you update it on your phone, it will show up on your laptop. If you update it on your laptop, it shows up on your phone. I mean, I have it's amazing. It's a good one for sure.
Okay. The other thing I have to add this in, like, let's say we have our team call usually every Wednesday at 4 p.m. right? So you put that, and then you can put like for the rest of time. So like automatically every Wednesday at 4, it is set. So like I do that with my trainings, any consistent things I have. Just.
Yeah, I do that on my iCalendar on my phone. I guess for me, like, I don't know if I'm just old school in the sense that I've always used paper and pen. So I find like going from my phone to paper to like, I just find I end up being a squirrel and lost and not organizing my time. And then I spend more time going on my phone being like, what was I going to do again? What did I have to do? Whereas if I have it like visual on paper for me, it's right there and I can actually physically check it off. So,
Yeah, I think it's what works for you.
yeah, oh, for sure.
I personally found what works for me because I noticed like the same thing. All of my appointments, all of my like coaching calls, client calls, team calls, anything that like I need to be reminded of, like goes on my Google Calendar. Because then it like 30 minutes before, I'll be like, oh, in case you forgot, you got a call coming up, you know? And then like, and I'll remember that. But then like for my activities, I use my planner, you know, because then you can scratch it off and move it around. So that's how I personally like to do it. But it's really just finding a system that works for you.
Yeah.
You know?
100%. Yeah, I
I know
definitely like the reminders.
Oh, Stephanie? Sorry.
I know personally for me, I'm an Android user. So what I actually do is I have a few different systems. So I do use Google Calendar for everything. And it allows you to set reminders for yourself. So it can go off like half an hour, 15 minutes before. But I actually have a widget because I have an Android and it's actually the whole Google Calendar on my main home screen page, which that works amazing. So like as soon as I go to my home page, when I turn my phone on, there's my calendar for the day, like everything. That's one of them. And then the other thing is I actually found on Amazon, it's called this Go Girl calendar, and it's almost the same idea as you guys have. So it's like my week over here, and then it's like to-do lists and like my habit tracker along with like, so it's kind of like the same idea. So if people wanted something, and then it gives you like spaces at the back for notes and stuff like that. And then goals at the beginning and stuff. So like my goals for the year and stuff
by
like
widget,
that.
you mean like that?
Kind of, yeah. Mine just, it's kind of like that, but mine's actually like a like it looks like a normal calendar that fits on the whole screen. So it doesn't even have any apps below it. It's just my whole main front screen. But it's kind of the same idea as a widget. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I definitely have like reminders in my phone for those sorts of things. I think it's just like, it's so easy to at the end of the day be like, oh shit, I didn't put in my invites, and right. And so those are the things like scheduling those into my day are vital. Otherwise they won't happen.
Tamara, can we touch on one little thing that I think is like the only missing piece of our organization? Like we're talking calendars and all that. How about thinking about a contact list? So like, I just want to put it out there. If you don't have a list, you don't have a business. Like that is something that a lot of top coaches say. So actually having it like an Excel sheet or a piece of paper where every time you talk to someone, you put their name down and then you know to come and follow up with them. So that's something like as your new coach, sorry, there's crazy kids playing. As a new coach, you kind of want to get in that habit. And then eventually you may have a list that has like 50,000 people on it. Right? Like, and eventually you want to almost get those people's emails too, because then you have an email list. So just thinking, Tamara, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, Sorry. It was interesting. So at NLC this weekend, I can't remember who it was that talked about it. It was a call with Danielle Natoni and another, it will come to me. And she talked about how she was locked out of her Facebook, kind of similar to what happened to Angie Bellmer. And she had no access to any of her groups. So no access to her, and she was running all of her free groups and her challenge groups and her things like that on Facebook. So she had zero access to anyone that was in those groups. And so she said, like, you have to have some sort of contact list of people that you have, you know, that are your official clients or people that are in your free groups, whether it's even just, you know, you ultimately want to have email addresses. I would recommend in the beginning, like I know I said it at the start of the call with the fluff work, is even just like a simple Excel or Google Sheet spreadsheet, right? Where you're putting people's names in and then you can transfer them to different sheets based on whether or not they've signed up. I don't think that as a newer coach, you need to be like coming up with these elaborate email systems and things. I do think that's a giant waste of time. And it's fun, but it's not going to move your business forward. So you definitely have to have some sort of system, like to keep track of people in case that does happen. Right. And I mean, Christina, you can vouch for that with the loss of even just your Instagram too, right? And how amazing, how like massive that was in terms of like, holy shit, I just lost the potential contact information for like 20,000 people. So
I was thankful. Quick tip there. I truly wholeheartedly hope that every single day you're posting on your Instagram, your Facebook, and your business page. I've been saying that and I'll say it forever, because you want to have your market on Instagram, your market on your personal Facebook, and then your market on your business page. So if one ever goes down, you still have these other platforms. And it happened to me. So I was able to go on my Facebook and be like, this is what happened. And then I got like 1,700 followers in 3 days. And now that's my backup account because I got my page back. But another tip I wanted to give, because this is my trusted and true tip since the beginning, is on my list, if it's on a piece of paper of the people or if it's on my Excel sheet, every time I follow up with them, I highlight them. So I always know if this is a blank Excel sheet or a blank piece of paper that all these people need to be followed up with. So it's just always worked for me to highlight someone. And that way you can always look at your list and be like, who have I not checked back with?
Yeah, for sure. Just make sure you're scheduling in those IPAs.
Add something real quick that's been working for me, you guys. I always have like a really hard time getting started and moving forward, and like a lot of what Tamara said, like I'm like very scattered, like I'm like open my phone, like the next thing you know, I'm like looking at, you know, my friends' kids, and I'm like, why am I here? And oh yeah, I have to go to this group, and I'm checking in with that. But what I found, this is what I did. I forget what call it was, but they said something about they took like a sheet of paper and they wrote down like what the item was for the power hour, and then when they're done, they flip that so then they know what item they are on the power hour. What I was doing was I have color-coded papers, and so like red, orange, yellow, green. So it's like, this is number 1, this is number 2. And like every time I get stuck during the day or I find myself with my phone in my hand and I don't know what to do, I would follow some people, post in my stories, and then interact with my followers. And then I move that sheet over. And then like the yellow sheet, instead of writing invites, because it was super intimidating to me, I wrote share the dream, build my team. And like, I feel like I want to do that. Whereas like, I feel like when I'm saying like, I'm going to go invite people, it like gives me that anxiety. But like, I'm like, yeah, I want to share the dream. Yeah, I want to build my team. And it just like pumps me up. So it just like keeps me on those 2 like main business building activities. So, and again, the color, like, so like the red, it's like, don't move on to the green until you know you've done your red and your yellow, and then move on to some green if you want something new. But anyway, it's been a couple of weeks and it just helps me stay focused and stay on track if it'll help anybody else.
Yeah, for sure. I think sharing all of that stuff, like what is working for each one, because we're all so different, right? 100%. Anyone else? Can someone share a blank? I never used Excel. I tried Christina's list thing for a while on paper. That was very overwhelming for me. Actually, maybe I did use Excel. I'd have to go back and look, but now I put everyone into my email. So it's different for me now that I have that built, right? But that's because I would hit Success Club 10 and then do it. So Christina, are you seeing the question? Do you have like a blank copy of a formatted Excel sheet with a hard time? Excel is overwhelming, but do you have Google? Like, are you using Google Sheets?
Yeah,
Christina,
go ahead, love. I was just gonna say I use Google Sheets for like years, and I'm not kidding. I have 50,000 emails sitting there because every time I just ask their name, it just depends on what I'm working on. If it's a client, I basically just need their name, their email, what country they're from, and their IG handle, right? Because that's like, and these are people that like I'm having genuine conversations with or applying to work with me. So I don't track people. Sorry, Tori, you can tell.
No, I mean, you guys, I did a whole call on this like a couple weeks ago. Personally, I never give anyone, and it just makes you more professional. Have a form. It doesn't have to, it can be a Google form where you collect their name, their Instagram username, what country they're from, what they struggle with, like, whether I have one for clients and I have one for coaches. And before I send out any information, I have them fill out that form. And I say, awesome, like before I give them a video, before I give them any information, before you invite them to a sneak peek, they fill out a form. And one, it just makes you more professional to have a form. And if you're talking to everyone, you know, and you're like having genuine conversations and you're just like, hey, I'd love to send you a free workout and all of the details about my next boot camp. Can you do me a huge favor so I know what your goals are, and just fill out this quick form and I'll email you all of the details. Most people will fill it out. Like most people do. And if they don't, then they're not genuinely interested. You guys, like if they aren't, and you're kind of just like you're doing like a filtering process. But what happens when you have people fill out that form, you can have it linked to a Google Sheet. And I have a Google Sheet that has thousands and thousands and thousands of people that have filled out that form. So I can always go back to it. It has their name, it has their Instagram username, it has the country that they're from, and it has the specific things that they wrote down that they struggled with. And it's all populated. And I didn't have to do it. I just open up that form and it's all there in a Google Sheet. So make your life a little bit easier, you know, like have those, instead of manually typing these out from conversations, like put a system in place where you literally create a Google form, edit, or whatever, Wufoo type form, anything, link it to a Google Sheet. It takes like 5 seconds to do. And then you have that. And whenever someone's interested, before you give them information, send them a voice memo, be like, hey, I have this quick form. Can you fill it out really quick so I can learn more about your goals? And then I'll send you all of the details. And then boom, you have your list. You're building your list.
If you haven't done Google Forms before, 2 quick things. Number 1, you have to turn on get email notifications if you actually want to get notified that someone has filled it out. And number 2, there's literally a green button you push and it will open up a Google Sheet with the information there. Like you didn't have to transfer any of the info. So as much as it can be overwhelming, it's literally a green button, like click on it and it will take you to a spreadsheet that's already built for you based on the questions in your form. Right.
And I have found too, like, simplify your form. Don't ask like a bazillion questions, because then they definitely won't fill it out. But to what Tori said, like all of those like basic things, they'll fill that out if they're interested. If they're not interested, if they don't have time to fill out the form, they're never going to sign up. They're never going to be a client. They're never going to press play on their workout. So it's not even worth your time to be in with, especially like to Tori's point, just to give them something for free. It also makes you look super professional, because you will never find a company online that will give you something without at least asking you for your email address first. Every website you go to, like there's always a pop-up, oh, do you want 20% off? Put your email address. Like everybody's collecting email addresses. People get that at this point. So it just makes you look more professional too. And you can even phrase it as like, thank you so much. I'm so busy. I'm like talking to a bunch of people. I just want to keep everything organized. Can you just fill out this quick form and I'll reply to it right away? And then it just kind of answers that.
I think 4 or 5 questions max, right? It's their struggles, their name, their email, their Instagram, and
that's it.
Got it. Like that's all you need to know.
Yeah. Like literally it should take them like a minute top to fill it out. Like, yeah. And then you can ask them, like when you send them out an email, like you can ask them more questions about themselves, you know, like what do you like? What are your hobbies? What, like expand on their form, you know, like, but keep it simple and keep it a very easy way to collect their information, and save yourself the headache of like manually. I mean, you might have to do some manual updates here and there, but like try to put systems in place, because we're all busy. Right. And it is what you're going to have to spend, maybe if you've never done a Google form, 20 minutes figuring it out, you know, like you're going to have to figure it out and you have to get it set up. But once it's set up, the amount of time that you've saved yourself in the future, it's worth that upfront time that you put in there. Right. So that's my 2 cents on it. I never give any sample workouts or information until they fill out the form, ever. Literally, I don't even answer questions. I'm like, you know, I'll answer all of your questions once you fill this out, and I'll send you a video with all of the details. That's me personally. So, and it's worked. So take it for
I don't think a Google form I would deem fluff work. A Google form is being business smart, saying you're going to build a website or put in Jamelius or Google Streak. That's fluff work.
Yeah, a form takes 15 minutes tops, you know. And then you have it forever. So
Can I just add too, like, just in case any like newer coaches are wondering, pretty much everything on the form is the same thing you're filling out in the share cart later, right? So it's just their name, their email, what country they're from. And then what I do, which is basically the same as Tori and all the other ladies, but I just send them, I find out their goals and I say, great, I have no doubt that this challenge pack is going to help you crush your goals. Whatever their goals are, it's the challenge pack, right? That's going to help them crush their goals. And then what I've been doing lately, I don't know if I was going to share, I put in the team group like a client bundle package. So I just send them that. I'm like, I have no doubt the challenge pack is going to help you crush your goals. Here's the bundles. Let me know if you have any questions. So the process is actually really simple. Where the magic happens is what we talked about on Sunday, and like what Tamara's talking about is trying to get as many people into the form as possible. Like, how many conversations can you have? Because I can say my statistic, probably out of every 10 people that go and fill out the form, only one signs up. So I'm not just sending the form to one person and hoping they sign up. You got to, what your goal as a coach is to show up every day on social media, inspire people, add value, then plug in your form, plug in your form, plug in your form, so that you just have a professional business. You're adding value, but you're getting people to fill out your form so that they can work with you. So I hope that was a little bit helpful.
Well, and I would just to add on to that, Christina, like if you take what you just said, 1 person out of 10, right, that's filled out your form. So those are not just people that are randomly coming to you. Those are people that you've, built a conversation with and are finally saying yes. And if their goal is Success Club 10 every month, right? So you have 1 person who does it based on those 10, then you need a minimum of 50 people a month filling out your form, a minimum. So how are you going to get 50 people to fill out your form? You're not going to get that by building a website. You're going to get that with time management and doing the income producing activities, right? You have to schedule those in.
Can I add one more thing? Because I know that I'm actually looking at my sister who's brand new coach. And I'm like, I know you're going to ask me this question after, because I'm in the new coach vibe because she's going through it. I want you to know, as much as we're all talking about forms and being professional and all the crazy stuff, if you're a new coach, your goal is just to be signing up your few people and changing those people's lives. Like, your goal this month as a new coach, or any month that your coach, is just like, how can I help 3 people? So if that means just having a quick conversation with someone or genuine conversation with someone, that's awesome. But as you go on, you want to start creating these systems, like a form, so it's professional and you have something to funnel people to. But I feel like I love how our like new theme of the team is just like simple, 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 because it's so true. It's like, just do the work, have the conversations, help people with their goals and sign them up. But when you're ready to rev it up and you're ready to start becoming like an entrepreneur girl boss and like really grow this thing, you want to take the time to create these things, because it's like the ladies are saying, it's going to save you more time later, so you can spend more time on that content creation and social media, and then just adding more people to that every month.
Oh no, that's a falling baby.
The baby's falling over.
Aw. But I also feel like, just adding on to what Christina said, then you also have more time to enjoy your life, right? It's the more intentional you are with your time, the less you'll feel anxious and chasing it, right? So, poor London. Anybody else? Do you want to take a picture while we still have? Lena just asked to say that again. I feel like the more intentional I am with my time, the more I get to enjoy my life. Thank you. She said she agrees. All right, everybody. Thank you for being on with us tonight. I hope you all enjoy. I will get the files loaded into the file section right away so that you can do that. And I'll put a copy in there, but just make sure on Canva, make sure to make your own copy. Otherwise, everyone will be adjusting the same copy, right? Much love.
Tamara.
Ciao. Thank you.